When I first started learning about reef keeping, I watched a lot of tank tours. The displays were always amazing, but a part of me was most excited for the video to get to the sump. I wanted to see what gear and technology was keeping the reef alive. I think there's a reason why aquarists become mesmerized by equipment. For those of you out there like me, today I'm going to skip straight to the good part. This is a tour of my dream aquarium fish room. Creating it took countless hours and cost nearly twice as much as the display. I love this room just as much as the reef. Honestly, sometimes more, and I'm excited to share it with you. As a quick reminder of what all this is supporting, this is my 310-gallon mixed reef aquarium. It's 8 feet long, 30 inches wide, and 25 inches deep. The stand and canopy were custom made by a cabinet maker friend of mine. I have videos posted about its early stages and some of the bumps in the road I've experienced in getting to this point. Check them out if you're interested. And please consider subscribing. It means so much to me to know that people are enjoying these videos. But back to the fish room. My brother and I built this space out of the unfinished portion of the basement. It's 15 by 10 feet. The drywall is mold resistant and areas in the splash zone are covered with FRP. The rubber base molding is silicone to the floor to direct any spills down the central drain. It's powered by 2 dedicated 20-amp circuits. I didn't want anyone's hair dryer causing a short and killing the power to the tank. The opening in the wall is as good a place to start as any. I originally thought I'd access the tank directly this way for feeding and dosing, but the overflow and plumbing makes it really hard to reach. Plus, I think anything I'd put in the tank would mostly go straight down the overflow. This wall is mostly controller systems. I have one Vortec battery backup, and I plan to add another in series at some point. My original plan was to mount all my Apex and Ecotech gear on my controller board, but everything is so spaced out in here that many of the cords wouldn't reach. It's a good problem to have, I know. Just briefly, these controller boards are really cool. I love how they keep everything organized and tidy, and you can lift it off the wall to access the cords if you want to. Over here, I mounted my kid's old iPad. I use it to access Apex Fusion, Ecotech Mobius for my pumps, Kessel Wi-Fi for my lights, and even my AI for the refugium lights. I also keep my aquarium log on a Google spreadsheet I can access from here. It's super handy. Here's the little mini fridge I use to keep fish food and additives. Seems like an unnecessary luxury, but my wife appreciates me not storing pet food in our kitchen, and I appreciate not having to run upstairs every time I feed the fish. This dehumidifier is great. I have it set to maintain a maximum 45% humidity. The water reservoir is below the unit, and when it fills, it's pumped out automatically through RO line to the utility sink drain. No problems with humidity and no hauling buckets. This is my QT, which is my old 90-gallon system. Currently, its only inhabitant is this little mandarin I had to rescue from the main display. He was getting picked on mercilessly by several other inhabitants and had almost no fins when I scooped him out. For as delicate as these guys are, he totally bounced back and now has this whole mansion to himself. I dose it with phytoplankton daily to keep the pod population up and make sure he's well fed. I'm currently designing a workbench/shelving rack in this area. I'm going to epoxy seal some butcher block for the countertop and have shelves and pull-out baskets below for storage. I'm really excited about that project. I just need to find time to build it. Then I'm going to mount shelves above it and probably over here so I can have all my gear properly stored and organized. I'm currently using the Rubbermaids from my old cycling station as a countertop. I love the utility sink. I installed a spray faucet which makes cleaning so much easier. I even raised up the sink about 3 inches so it was at a better height. I'm going to do a whole video on the mixing station alone. I'm really proud of it. Broadly, I have 2 brute trash cans plumbed together for salt mixing and 1 for RODI. I have 10 gallons of RO isolated for my ATO, which is gravity fed into the return chamber of the sump. It even has safety features built in to manage the inevitable spills. Definitely more to come on this. And now the main event. I designed and built this sump myself. Welding acrylic is surprisingly easy. I basically learned how to do it by watching Joey from the King of DIY. The tank overflows through a bean animal drain into these 2 filter socks here. Eventually I'll upgrade to felt rollers, but these work fine for now. The emergency drain empties here above the water line, so the splashing would alert me to the blockage. This is the Vectra L2 that runs my closed loop. I have another one down at the end as my return. Getting the circulation correct was actually quite a challenge and required some revision from my original design. I'm working on a video about that as well, so stay tuned. These are my 2 UV sterilizers. I have them mounted like this because I'm a crazy person and I can't tolerate the risk of one of them leaking. I try to mount anything that could leak in or over the sump for this purpose. I only run them when I'm dealing with algae problems or if I see an oncoming ick outbreak. My 2-part dosers are mounted on the wall and empty here. I placed the tiniest, cheapest power head I could find behind them to promote mixing. My skimmer is far too small for the system, but it chugs away and I think it's helpful. Next is my refugium section, which is filled with chaetomorpha and lots of rubble for copepod breeding. It's lit by my old AI-26s, which I tuned to the same spectrum as dedicated refugium lights. They're so old that their software isn't even supported, and if they ever have a problem, I'll probably just have to replace them. Over here I have water level sensors for the sump. These will tell me if my return pump has failed, my ATO has run dry, or God forbid I have a leak in the sump. It helps me sleep better at night. I have 2 800-watt heaters and a cooling fan for temperature control. And down there is my other Vectra return pump. So that's a brief overview of the fish room. I'm going to go into more detail on much of this in upcoming videos, so be sure to subscribe and check back soon. If you've made it this far in the video, you're probably like me. You know that success as a reef keeper depends less on what is in the tank than on what's below it, or in my case, behind it. We've poured our time and expertise into the tank's life support systems so we can enjoy the beauty of the fish and corals we keep. But you and I also know there's just as much beauty going on behind the scenes. Thanks for watching.